welcome to the third project of our Énfasis by Santiago Hernández.
Hi.
Juliana Nugo.
Hello.
And who speaks to you, Carla Garcia. Next, we will continue with interview to carry it out with the pilot, Sebastian Perez.
Hello.
Who has been working for 13 years in the industry aviation. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Sebastian Perez. I've been in the aviation industry for 13 years. I began my process in the Colombian Air Force. I flew there for 10 years on a military aviation as a fighter pilot. Then I retired to fly in the commercial aviation. I flew as a pilot instructor on AM1 Academy, and then I was hired by LATAM to fly as a first officer on the Airbus family aircraft.
Okay, and next we would like to ask you some questions.
Okay.
The first, what impulsed you? Why did you decide to be a pilot?
Well, I think the decision for me to being a pilot was an early decision from my very young age. I grew up in a family from the industry. My father was a colonel from the Colombian Air Force, so I grew up on a military basis, surrounded by aircrafts, and I just play as a kid on aircraft. And beside of it, my mother works in the Aeronautica Civil, so I have the two chances to see a lot of from the aviation to phases of it. So I guess I love it from the very beginning. So I was decided to be a pilot from my young age.
Oh, perfect. What could be the difference between commercial pilot and Air Force pilot?
Well, I guess the way we fly is almost the same. It's the same physics and the same aerodynamics, but the mission that each one makes is quite different. Military aviation accomplishes different missions, different tasks, different scenarios, and different jobs, tasks. And commercial aviation is more encouraged, more focused on the passenger, on the loads and different environments, So I guess this is what is the main difference between the two kind of aviations.
Interesting. On your personal opinion, what do you think a pilot needs?
Well, I guess a pilot needs a different of abilities and skills. For me, as a personal opinion, a pilot needs a passion for what he do, a discipline, and a perseverance and a resilience. I guess is quite important. Disciplined pilot is a particular option that you have to have if you want to survive on this market. You have to study a lot to be carry on the every technique, every ability, every technology advance on the aviation. You have to be persistent on what you do. At the very beginning, you have to, if you want to get a job, you have to persist and try to be the best to get an option to have a job. And once you have the job, you have to have the resilience to overcome above any situation, planning and not planning situation. I guess is quite of the abilities that we have to have.
Okay, Sebastian, what's your flying tip?
Well, my flying tip, I would say that this is a very simple tip, but at the very end is kind of a very tough tip. I would say the calm for a pilot is the principle of the tip that you have to have. What I would say is the best tip that I can share. I would say the calm is the most important thing in a non-planned situation, an emergency situation. Because it will bring you the option to think, to breathe, to take the second to double think the situation and take the best course of action when you really need to have it and to take those decisions, those hard decisions, I guess is the calm.
What's your most memorable flight?
My most memorable flights, I would say that that was my first flight solo. I do remember that like a very special day. That was on a Cessna 182 on Cali, and I do remember that like a very one special day in my life. That was the first time that I fly an aircraft alone by myself. I think it's the most remarkable for me.
Okay.
Give us an example of when you were able to use your leadership skill on a flight.
Yeah, well, I would say that I had different tough situations in emergency situations and a very hard tasks on my career as a fighter pilot, even though here as a commercial pilot. And I will say that all days on our diary tasks, diary jobs, we do our best to lead the team on what we do, to make a safe flights and to encourage for the safety of every operation that we do. I think it's all the time we are leading the team. That is what we do every day.
What skills do you consider are the most important in your work ever?
Yeah, well, in the industry right now, the most important or the more important thing, the skills now. I will say on a simple way, you have to have two kind of skills. The technical skills, those are those kind of skills that you have to handle an aircraft, to perform a landing, perform a takeoff, more than technical skills to understand a manual, to understand some rules of aviation and weather, everything. And on the other hand, you have the non-technical skills. It's kind of the abilities, and this is what we talk a lot in the industry on the CRM, on the model TM models. You have to have these skills that are, for example, the leadership, the communication, the working as a team. Those non-technical skills are very hard to plot, but are the most important because it's what makes you different from the other ones, and that creates you the criteria to develop a hard task and a hard job. That is what we do every day.
What strategies does your company use to keep your knowledge up to date?
Well, my company, and I guess all the companies on the market, they use a common strategy, and it is called continuous training. We as crew members, we are all the time training a normal and non-normal situations. For example, we as pilots, we have to make two main trainings in a year. Is what we call the proficiency and the continuous training. It is each semester, one per each semester, and it is where you practice all these normal maneuvers, for example, landings, takeoffs on tough runways.
What do you dislike the most about your job?
Well, what I dislike the most, I will say it's not a really dislike. I will say it's one of the things that we would like to change, but it's quite often impossible. It's about the schedules, the time that we work on. It's quite hard because sometimes you have to wake up early in the morning to work, very early in the morning, and a couple of days after that you have to work late on the night. So it's for your body, it's hard for your body to get accustomed to that. You know, it's one of the things that I don't like the most. But yeah, that's it.
What do you schedule prefer?
Well, if I will change, if I would choose one, I would say that I would like to prefer to fly just at nights, on the overnights. I don't like to wake up early in the morning too much. So yeah, I will prefer the nights. That's it.
Of course.
What do you love about your job?
I would say that I love a lot of things in my job, but just on the main thing and the very end of it is that I do what I really like, that I do what I wanted from just my very young age, and at the very end they pay me for doing that, so I do love it. Yeah, that's super good. I like it.
What's the look thing that you always carry on your flight back?
Well, I have a lot of things in my flight back. You know, there's my mics on, my manuals, but I would say that there's a lucky thing that I always have on my flight back. This is kind of a picture of my family. You know, this kind of a lucky thing that I always have. This a picture from my family. They always join me in every flight, and that's quite my inspiration to fly.
Okay, Sebastian, we thank you for you giving your time and for telling us some of your experience and also knowing more about you. It was a pleasure to meet you and wish you good flights, and we hope to meet one day.
Awesome, guys. Thank you.
Thank
Hope to see you
you.
there.
Thank you.